CitizenNappa versus Ultima, and we've got the best 32 players at the moment of Australia and New Zealand who are going to be fighting it out for the top 2 places, who will then go to the Asia Pacific regional finals. Top 4 from that are going to go to BlizzCon. So really, really exciting to see, opportunities for Australian and New Zealand players to finally play at BlizzCon, because before it was really, really difficult.
Yeah, like I think Australia and New Zealand are kind of the region that's been forgotten out of esports for the longest time. But we always have...
we are down here, guys. Hello!
Yeah. But across all the esports, you always tend to have like 1 or 2 players that, despite the fact that it is a bit more of an ignored region, come out.
Yeah, like Moonglade for StarCraft was definitely a big one as well.
So. And CSGO as well. We've got some good teams now.
Yeah.
So
Most definitely the Renegades.
I think this is an opportunity for the Hearthstone players from down on to really show what they've got.
Because there was one guy last year who was all the way from Perth, but like he just didn't end up doing that well, and he was quite an unknown player. So to everyone tuning in, we hope that you can kind of find out a bit about our players as well. We've got some really good personalities down here, and I think part of the fun of Hearthstone is being able to follow players that you like just in any other game as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, the most exciting thing, of course, is TGT being revealed just recently, and so we're going to see, hopefully, a lot of new decks, and so I'd say some fan old favorites as well. So
yeah, I mean, Blizzard did a good job of making cards that made new deck opportunities available to the players, as well as kind of strengthen and enforce the already existing archetypes.
Yeah, did you see that interview with Ben Brode about it? He did an interview about trying to balance introducing new cards, but at the same time not making it inaccessible for new players, because I mean, he was talking about things such as power creep, and we're going to get into this game. But yeah, so basically they were trying to balance between having lots of new content, which is great, but then not making it too inaccessible.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be a patron warrior versus maybe sort of more of a mid-rangey secret paladin here.
Yeah, so Ultima is at the top at the moment with the Paladin deck, and CitizenNappa down the bottom with the Grim Patron. Looks like it's going to actually be a kind of like a mid-range secret Paladin by the looks of it, Mario.
Yeah, definitely. The Secret Paladin is one of those decks that really came out after the Grand Tournament was released. Because of that Mystic, the 6-drop that gets you all the secrets in play.
Mysterious Champion.
Mysterious Champion, that's the one.
Which secrets will I get? How about all of them?
Yeah, and that really kind of strengthened the secret playstyle, which before wasn't really worth it at the time, because if you put too many secrets in your deck, you end up drawing them and they're kind of dead cards, but being able to pull them all out at once, it really made it viable.
Yeah, you do run out of cards pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So, okay, it's definitely that kind of mid-range, because there's also a different variant of it where it's more aggro. Eloise was running it for a little while as well, and it was kind of like your highest drop was the Mysterious Challenger, and everything else was just...
You have things like Leper Gnomes in there to really get the damage in early.
My one doesn't run Leper Gnome because it's more of like a tempo wheel, but there's very little control. It's all about just tempo and face.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked a bit about the Paladin, but the Patron Warrior, it was a deck that existed before the Grand Tournament.
Yeah.
But has stayed extremely strong, despite all the new possibilities.
I think it was even stronger at the beginning because everybody, is trying to make dragons work and all these other cards, and Grim Patron's like, thanks for the free wins.
Yeah, but Grim Patron is definitely a very difficult deck to play because you need to really identify the different kind of win conditions against each particular deck. You have to kind of change up your play style a little bit.
Yeah.
When you really need to know when to play what card.
Yeah. So I mean, for those who are either new to the game or not familiar with it, I mean, a lot of it with the Grim Patron comes off the combo. So as you can see in his hand, down the bottom left-hand side, those are kind of two of the very key cards. Frothing Berserker gains 1 attack every time any minion is damaged, and Grim Patron. Whoa! Our sound is getting really loud.
Hearing those knife juggles loud and clear.
Man. Okay. Well.
Well, it looks like the Warrior is going to respond here. He has a bunch of options here, to be honest. He has the War Axe ready to really trade efficiently if he wants to. He has some early drops here as well in the form of the Armor Smith, as well as a Shield Slam. So if he really wants to, he can kind of armor up and take care of the knife juggle that way. But he probably wants to save the removal for bigger targets and really kind of use the weapons early on to clear the early game minions here.
Yeah.
Looks like he's contemplating whether or not to throw out the Frothing Berserker. And this is one of the key aspects to Patron as well. Those Frothing Berserkers are a really nice kind of win condition against control decks. But against the more aggressive decks, sometimes you do want to throw it out there to get a body out, to try and make sure the board situation doesn't get too out of control.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And what we were saying beforehand, we just like just our sound suddenly went very, very high. A lot of it comes down with Frothing Berserker and Warsong Commander, and that kind of charge combo. Because Warsong Commander, any creature with 2 attack or less, when it comes into play, so if it gets bigger after, can still charge.
Yeah.
So it gets to attack on the first turn that it comes into play. So yeah, but you're right. I mean, like we've seen a lot of times against Druids, especially Grim Patrons throwing down that Frothing Berserker earlier, just forcing out the swipe, forcing out removal as well, and making sure that they can't just develop their own board.
Yeah. And as a player playing against Grim Patrons, you really want to save your sweeper and board clear combos for when that Warsong Commander and the Grim Patron kind of combo gets thrown out there, because you really want to shut that down. You cannot get the Grim Patrons to kind of spiral out of control, get like multiple copies, because that's when it gets really difficult.
This Grim Patron warrior, CitizenNappa, he is in a great spot. That Thorazan or Thorizian on turn 6 is a fantastic play, taking 1 cost off everything and just...
And it's especially relevant because he has
the combo pieces in his hands,
significant pieces of the combo that he's inevitably going to use already in his hand. So the fact that the mana cost of each of those cards is reduced now, later on he can fit more extra kind of triggers into that combo if he wants to. But nice play here by...
Sweet esports juggle right there. Needed that to make it nice and clean in terms of getting rid of that Thorizian. So.
This is actually looking to be more of like a control-y paladin with a few secrets in there. It's a very interesting way to play the paladin here. And getting some really nice board presence at this stage. Needs to be a little bit careful about having minions with less than 3 attack in the later stage, just because once the Grim Patrons get charged and they can kind of trade and make copies of themselves by trading against creatures that have less than 3 attack.
Because he can get he can get 2 juggles off that on the Quartermaster as well.
Yeah.
So that could be an issue. But I mean, kind of a pretty important issue to note as well is that that's quite nice. Paladins don't really have a lot of reach. Like they don't tend to have a lot of reach, especially the mid range. Like they've got Consecration, they've got True Silver, which is kind of reach in a way as well, but there's just not very much burst, and I think that's why the Grim Patrons, he chooses not to play anything because he actually doesn't need to at this stage. Although Lotheb is going to make this pretty awkward.
Yeah, it means he can't really supplement the combo with any sort of spells here.
Yeah,
if the patron wants to throw it out, because his health is getting quite low, and he is within lethal range at this stage if he doesn't start to kind of clear a little bit of the board.
I mean, he can't use the Whirlwind, which is really, really aggravating, because that's what he wants to use, but yeah, I wonder what he'll do instead. I mean, because how much mana has he got? He's got 8 mana next turn. So, I mean, one option is to go Warsong with the Grim Patron and then the Unstable Ghoul as well first. So you get out 2 Grim Patrons first off the Quartermaster, then you use the Unstable Ghoul so that you get even more off that. So you got 4, and then you can run them into the other things. But you're still pretty...
Yeah, it's looking very risky. Scary for the Patron here. And as we can see in the hand of the Paladin as well, he's got great follow-up for his next turn. He can throw down that Tyrion if he wants to. Even a Dr. Boom if he
Everyone, get in here!
And here we go. Here comes the big combo.
So he's going to have to play this. Okay, it looks like he's going to play this correctly. He should hit with the other Grim Patron. Yeah, there we go. Hits with the other Grim Patron first. But yeah,
so is he going to swing with the Unstable Ghoul? I wonder.
I mean, it's going to make it pretty awkward. He has to do something, though. Because he'll get... Oh, okay.
Yeah, he has to clear the Lotheb here, otherwise his opponent will just charge through. And looks like he's gonna spend 1 combo on trying to clear the board. So that means that he only has 1 Warsong Commander left, and that is such a key card in,
You need it.
executing those huge damage turns.
You definitely need it. And now, I mean, he's got so many plays that he can choose. He can either go for a Dr. Boom or Tyrion Forging. The the game is very much in the Paladin's reach right now, so I have to just see what he's going to do for it. Of course, there are the other decks left as well, so CitizenNappa, if he does fall down this game, he does have a Priest and a Hunter, and we haven't really seen that many Priests at all.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon Priest becoming a really popular deck recently. Blizzard adding a lot more potential for the dragons in the form of like the Twilight Guardians and stuff like that.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know, we've seen Priests kind of move up the tiers in terms of the decks recently.
So it's not just a Mars playing anymore.
Yeah.
And I think Kalento played a pretty mean Priest for a little while as well.
Yeah, but we rarely saw them in tournaments. So it's really nice to... I'm kind of excited to actually see what kind of deck he's running.
Okay,
but
so let's go Boom. Okay. I mean, he has a Whirlwind.
Okay, so he has some potential to try and gain some armor here. No real straight-up removal at this stage. He's going to have to slam to draw here, to cycle through.
Come on and slam.
Maybe if he can get an
And
execute,
welcome to
that could
the
turn
jam.
this around, but unfortunately, he has no real option to straight-up remove the Doctor Boom unless he goes for a frothing combo.
Well, I think what he's trying to go for is maybe Armorsmith, Whirlwind, hope that the boom bots hit the Armorsmith, give him some extra armor, and then try and shield slam on top of it. But
Yeah, it's
pretty
a lot
risky.
of ifs.
yeah. It is a lot of ifs. I mean, poor.
Yeah, I mean, I think Armorsmith, Frothing Berserker, and then you do the Whirlwind, as you said. Try and gain some armor. Hope for the best boom bots here.
Yeah. It's pretty risky though, because like if he doesn't get enough armor,
Yeah,
he can't armor up now either, and I think that's okay. Oh, he gets okay. Oh, one.
Oh, perfect.
Esports, digital athletics, showing their worth right there. Some fantastic blessings from RNGesus.
Yeah, the patron must be feeling very happy about that.
The paladin, on the other hand, probably not as much.
Yep. Decides to go with Tyrion here, actually. Yeah, I guess if he played the Alder Peacekeeper, he doesn't really have much board presence.
No, and it just like you can just reset again, go over and over again. So okay.
Oh, and up to 11 armor now. The patron really coming back into this. It was looking very grim for a second there for the patron. But,
that's awful. It's awful. So, I mean, probably clear. He's going to be pretty sad as soon as he sees that, you know, it's going to come back with 1 life.
Yeah.
And because he's playing all these cards beforehand... Oh, actually, that's a good draw for that. That's a fantastic draw for that. He might actually... Is he going to pass the...
He should trade that. Because, I mean, there's so many ways that the Paladin could remove that Berserker. I think it's really not worth it to just kind of keep it around.
Yeah,
for the
like
best.
a Consecration would be awful for it.
Or even anything like an Aldor Peacekeeper, you know, really nullifying the extra damage that is built up. So I
Well,
think
he's only got a few seconds left, and what is he going to do, Morrow? It looks like he might actually just... Pass the turn.
Okay, he wants to see what his opponent has. Well, I mean, as you said, you know, Paladins don't really have that much reach in terms of burst damage, so maybe he's kind of
bad,
hoping for that.
Feels bad.
Yeah. Boom. He needs more cycle. The patron needs a little bit more cycle here.
Yeah,
try and
most
get
definitely.
some nice removal at least.
Well, there's one. He really needs Battle Rage though. Yeah, it hasn't. He's only drawn 1 so far. That's
nice.
That's fantastic. And excuse me, having the Inner Rage after as well to get rid of it once again is fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so Avenge, then turns back on 1 life.
Yeah, and it comes back with the Divine Shield as well, so that's really annoying.
Yeah, that is annoying. Oh,
Forced to trade that in.
I guess he thinks he's alive for long enough that he can play with 1 more turn, and I guess because it's 0 mana.
Is this some BM coming in here? Was that?
Is this some mind games coming in? What is this? What's life?
I don't even.
I don't even know what's going on anymore.
Yeah, what if you had a whirlwind? Like, that was a bit risk. Like, I feel like that is actually just playing mind games where you're just trying to get into your opponent's head. Like, I'm so far ahead, I'll just
Well, he just doesn't give a heck, Mario. He just doesn't give a heck. See, the other thing as well is, what about if there was a secret, which was the, is it Argent Defender? The 2-1? Get down!
Yeah.
Yeah, Argent Defender. Imagine if it had been that. Suddenly,
Noble
like,
sacrifice, yeah.
yeah, that would have been quite annoying. Or he might have actually done it so that it's not a, it's not injured anymore on 1 health.
That's true.
So maybe that's what he was going for. I don't know about it though. Oh. I mean, that's kind of a piece that he definitely wants, but... Oh.
These Seekers getting so much value as well.
So much value.
I'm really liking this Paladin deck, because, I mean, a lot of the ones I've seen on the ladder are either very much aggressive, and this one is a bit more, has a bit more of the control of the aspects of the control Paladin mixed in with some of the secrets here.
Yeah, the the patron not looking in a good position at all. Kind of all his pieces have dissipated before him, and he is dead.
Yeah, nicely played by the Paladin there. Really taking control of the early and mid game there. The board presence was great. Buffing your silver hand recruits like that. And then on top of that, they're getting buffed even more with the secrets. Really just kind of spun out of control for the patron to really... And he didn't get a lot of his removal either early on. Just couldn't keep it under control until his combo.
Even with that sweet esports play.
Yeah, those boom bots were...
But then, like,
I
think, passing that turn on the Frothing Berserker was pretty ambitious. Like, I don't know.
I think at that point he was like, I'm very, very much behind. I really have to go for the greedy play.
Yeah.
And
it just didn't pay off.
No.
So, Priest and actually no, sorry. CitizenNappa still got all his decks to play. So
yeah.
Now, Ultima knows that there's going to be a Grim Patron, and there's still the Priest and Hunter to play. So. What do you think he's going to pull out next?
I think the Grim Patron might stay.
Yeah.
Just because it is such a well-rounded deck.
And he kind of needs a win back on the board.
He had a Druid, right? So I think Druids, especially the bit more mid-rangey Druids playstyles, are quite good against the Warrior decks. You can kind of get your opponent low enough in health and trade efficiently in the mid-game with the big drops, and then finish your opponent off with the combo. Token Druids are really popular as well. They have a pretty decent win rate against Patron as well, around the 50% mark, but,
There's I mean, like, the Druid with the kind of newer double ramp as well is really nice. When you've got 2 Denasis aspirants, you've also got the Wild Growths as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll only run, one of one kind, but 2 of the other, and you can just get so much ramp, and it was like you were saying beforehand as well. It means that you're not so reliant on just waiting for wild growths as well.
Yeah.
You've always got it. So it looks like, by that sound, we're into the second game, ladies and gentlemen, with Ultima already having won with one of his decks. This is the Conquest format, so it's effectively a best of 5, but the player has to win with each of their decks. And it looks like CitizenNappa actually changed up his approach. He's going for what looks to be kind of a more new mid-range hunter with the what's the Elic called again?
The one with the joust mechanic. What do you think of joust actually as an in-game mechanic?
I like it. I think what people were saying about it taking too long was somewhat justified. It kind of
right.
It's like,
That's just a small thing.
Yeah. I like it. I think it was like an interesting mechanic, so it kind of adds a new flavor to the game. And I like flavor text. I really like when, there's a new expansion and then suddenly there's this new thing, or like, in Naxxramas it was Death Rattle, and suddenly all these things had Death Rattle, and you're like, oh wow, that's really cool,
Yeah.
And I like the kind of new battle cry mechanic, because Death Rattle obviously is like, it only activates once it leaves the field. this is much more of a battle cry mechanic because it's a joust. So
Yeah.
there's some really cool ones, and there's lots of cool cards that I like with it as well. It's just
I'm really liking the
King's Elec. That's the one.
King's Elec, yeah. It kind of makes you think about what you have in your hand compared to what you could possibly have in your deck as well. So, because sometimes, oh, things like this happen.
See, I don't know about this card though. I don't particularly like it that much. I don't. It's just like a raptor, but it can draw you a card.
Yeah, but I don't mind it. I mean, I think that card draw plays a big part in the kind of the hunter.
Depends what kind of hunter mid-range you're playing.
Yeah,
like
and also, you know, it is a beast. It synergizes well with things like the scavenging hyena that he has. You know, animal bite. Sorry, kill command.
Animal bite.
Wow.
That's a new one. Hey, that could be a card.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same kind of thing. It poisons your. Oh, that'd be pretty cool to actually have poison.
Poison. That'd be kind of cool mechanic as well.
For rogues, like if you could poison your opponent, and then like you know it would do
like
one
one
damage this
damage.
turn, and then if you hit them again, it would do 2 damage the next turn, and then it would do 3 damage. That's what poisoned weapons should do. Just saying, you know, Liz, if you're watching.
Yeah. It looks like the warrior this time is more of a control-y warrior.
Yeah, most definitely, and he actually doesn't have any brawl, which can be a real issue against any kind of board presence decks.
Yeah.
Like multiple creatures, rather.
Yeah, traditionally Brawl was a card that people only ran 1 copy of, but recently people have been kind of trying 2 copies out just because there has been a lot of decks that kind of flood the board with a lot of things in the mid-game tempo type playstyles, and Shield Slime getting used to take care of one of the elephants here. He really wants to kind of minimize the damage that he's going to take early on here, because next turn he's got a lot of options in terms of the 6-drop.
Yeah, most definitely. He's got all 6-drops. So many 6-drops.
Yeah.
Yeah, his hand is not very versatile, actually. It's very much reliant on the opponent not doing too much until the late game. But
yeah, I mean, he does have the weapon out, and the execute as well combos very well with that. So
man, my Hunter's just got so much momentum at this stage, though. And what's more important in his hand as well is he's got damage. He's got finishing reach, which is what you need as a Hunter. So
yeah,
I mean, this is nice sustain, but at the same time, it's just like putting a band-aid on it. And that's a really nice draw as well.
Oh yeah, Unmaster can, when it synergizes with an actual beast, it's so good.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a couple of options. He can either trade the 2/2 and the 3/2 into the Shield Maiden, put down the Scavenging Hyena just beforehand, kind of pump that up a bit more, and then putting on the Hound. It does make it a little bit vulnerable to things like Shield Slime, but it also means that, you know, he's got to put his face into it in order to get rid of it. So, again, Brawl, that would be pretty bad for that, but do you lose that much steam from it? Nah, not really.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to overextend as the aggressive player here by putting too much on the field, because that Brawl can definitely hurt you and really swing things back in favor of the warrior.
Yeah, most definitely.
I've had way too many games on ladder where my warrior opponent has 1 card on the field and I have like 3 or 4.
He's just going for it. He wants it, and this is actually a really good play because there's no Brawl in the warrior's hand. And that's not a Brawl?
Yeah, that's not too useful. It's a bit too slow,
I'm pretty sure he's just straight up dead.
Yeah, he needs to try to make something happen here, gain some more armor somehow here. But throws down to Dr. Boom. Okay, so he's gonna try and pray to
Trust
Jesus.
in the faith. Trust in the light right here.
Oh, no.
Esports! Esports did not prevail this day, ladies and gentlemen. And he's going to tie it up 1-1.
Yeah, CitizenNappa using that old archetype of the hunter. You know, mixing in a few new cards as well, but still a good deck.
Basically a mid-range hunter, but executed well and made a really good decision to just go with it. Just go for face.
Yeah, unfortunate for the control warrior side there as well. He didn't draw
a Brawl.
Yeah, and a lot of his eearly drops didn't really come either.
Did he get the fiery Winax?
No, he didn't.
No. So that's what happens, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't get a fiery Winax, you don't win. That's what happens. And it's funny, every time you play against one ladder, you're like, oh, there it is, turn 2. How about that? Hello.
Pretty much.
But, I mean, it's pretty important to stress as well that, you know, ladder and tournaments are very, very different in the way that players approach it. It's much more about consistent decks rather than a fast deck that wins, you know, quickly, but, you know, it may not be as consistent overall.
Yeah, especially with the Conquest format, where you have to get 1 win with each deck. these situations in the past where like you 3-0 someone with just one hunter deck doesn't happen anymore. You have to be very proficient at all 3 decks and know every matchup, and to really make sure that you can consistently come out ahead in this kind of format.
Yeah, because I mean, if you have one bad deck, suddenly you've got to win with that bad deck against 3 really good decks, or like you might misplay with one deck, and then suddenly you got to win again with all of them. So, as we jump in here, looks like so CitizenNappa did win with that hunter, so it is 1-1 at the moment.
Wow,
in a best of 5. And
look at this ram! Look at that druid's hand. This is
baby.
Pretty much got everything you could ever ask for as a druid. That Darnassus Aspirant coming in there, the new wild growth, but then you get a 2/3 on top of it.
and no fiery war axe for this patron.
No, he must. He really wanted to draw that there, but he's just forced to armor up here, and you really can't let the druid get out of control.
Yeah, Druid gets
especially
away with
because he has.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we are witnessing esports right here.
I wonder if he's going to spend one of the innervates here. He doesn't. He chooses not to. He wants to play on curve, I guess. He just wants to throw out the piloted shredder next turn.
Well, I mean, the other thing as well is that if he suddenly draws something that's juicy, he can play it.
For sure, and if he draws like a 7-drop or something, he throws on the piloted shredder, and then next turn he can innervate out a 7-drop on, on turn 4 with 7 mana. That's a very nice spot. But looks like Patron Warrior looking a little bit on the back foot here. He could throw down the Acolyte if he wants to. He could armor up as well. Really depends.
I think the card draw is more what he needs right now.
Yeah.
He needs to get that cycle going. Needs to draw the pieces that he'll need, because I mean, the Shade's fantastic, but at the same time, it's actually more fodder for damage with Frothing Berserkers.
Yeah, but it is so early that I don't think the Druid has to worry about that just yet.
I don't think so.
And this is a stage where the Druid really has to take control of this matchup.
Yeah, it's not till really turn 7 that Grim Patron kicks into gear.
Yeah.
I mean, you really want to get that... is it Thorazane or Thrusian?
I like to say Thorazane, yeah.
It's not Thorazane. I don't think so. Anyway, I like throwing down the Emperor on turn 6.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you get that on turn 6, suddenly you've got so many pieces of the board.
And until then, all the Patron really wants to be drawing is weapons.
Yep.
More cycle, and some removal.
Yeah, most definitely.
You really don't want to be drawing into
into
patrons or anything in the first few turns.
No. You want to draw into it like turn 4 or 5, so that you've got those pieces, so that when you play down the Emperor, you can do it. So
yep.
Looks like just kind of mulling over what he's going to do here.
Yeah, kind of weighing the options here, taking his time.
I think he's going to go for the Stylons.
Okay, really denying that cycle here.
Which is nice.
Yeah. Doesn't want to reveal the Shade just yet. He really wants that to build up and trade efficiently against a big creature, or maybe even hit the face with, once it's gained a lot of power. Despite. This is exactly why you don't want to reveal the Shade just yet. Your opponent could have a weapon in their hand ready to go, and so it looks like down to 4 mana is a Druid at this stage. Quite a few options yet again, but it looks like the Pilot Shredder does get thrown out. Such a sticky minion.
It's kind of weird. Like, I feel like the appeal of the Innovates is kind of gone off now. It's like you kind of needed that earlier presence with them. And now it's like they feel like more and more a dead card.
He's drawing so well. He's drawn like most of the lowest mana minions here, and so he hasn't really had to use the Innervate. He's been able to play on curve pretty much every single turn so far. That's
very true.
So it looks like a Slam is going to get used here to definitely try and cycle a little bit more here. The Patron just hasn't gotten going as of yet. And he's really looking for the right cards here.
Yeah,
because he has that Therizian, as you like to call him, ready to go for next turn. It's just a matter of getting the right card draw at this stage. Oh, this is a really nice draw as well.
The worst thing is I used to play on that server for WoW. I used to play on that when Dreadmaul and Therizian got merged together.
Yeah.
I used to play on that server. And it became dead, and I moved to Frostmourne. It's pretty good. So, I mean, like, look, the Druid's in a decent spot, but he doesn't really have any high draws with those Innovates, so he's got no way to...
Ooh, this is nice, but having to play that wouldn't be the greatest. I mean, still, you know.
It's still okay, because, I mean,
Yeah.
it forces your opponent to deal with it, because you throw down your own Emperor, that's great, but at the same time, like, he's going to get 2 turns worth of, or possibly 2 turns of getting reductions.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're going to throw down the Therizian at this stage, you're really not doing it because it reduces the cost of your cards. Like, the cost of his cards in his hands are so low already that he could actually contemplate maybe throwing down the 2 extra creatures if he wants to. But then again, he doesn't want to overcommit against the Brawl, as we said before. You know, that's always a worry against Warriors. Although patrons don't tend not to run it, could be an option.
Time waits for no one.
But time is not an option for him at the moment as the rope ticks down, throws down that shade. Looks like he's going to go the Nasus Aspirant. He's going to get rid of that Acolyte, but giving him, another piece that he needs. Just waiting for that Warsong Commander, and there we go.
Yeah, all the pieces are in place. Now it's just a matter of throwing down the Emperor and then...
And the Druid, like, I mean, if he throws down his own Emperor, it's rubbish. It doesn't actually do anything at this stage, and that's quite nice, you know. Gets rid of the Emperor at the same time, but I feel like almost the the utility of these innovates is just really worn off.
Yeah, this is a situation that I often find myself in on ladder where I have 1 or 2 innovates in my hand in the late game.
Yeah, you just...
And you're like, well, I'm never really going to use this, am I? Like,
I mean, at least Wild Growth, he can draw a card off it later as well.
yeah.
I would say finally putting down the Emperor is good.
Yeah, might as well. That's a pretty nice body on the field that your opponent has to kind of deal with.
But now with these 2/3s as well, and there is a Grim Patron. Okay, there we go.
I like that trade. You know, you really
Yeah.
don't want to have any low attack minions on the field when the patron combo can be a possibility. It's really just ammo for your opponent to make more copies of the patron with.
So, I mean, maybe CitizenNappa is worried about Ultima having combo in his hand as well, because combo would be very, very, very lethal next turn. 14, 28, dead.
Okay, so another Frothing Berserker here. Maybe not quite yet comfortable to throw out a combo here. Because, I mean, there's not really much he can do either.
Well, what he can do is he can go like Warsong, Grim Patron, then like Inner Rage, then the Whirlwind, and then trade the Inner Raged into the Thorazan. So I think that would probably be one of the better plays for that. He's just so worried about like a straight up combo as well, because there's already 9 damage on the board, and that's going to become, 11 next turn as well.
Yeah.
So that'd be 15. So it'd be 29. Yeah, 29 with the combo. 14 and 15. Which is nasty. I mean, but then at the same stage, like, sometimes you got to play to win rather than not play to not lose.
Here comes a patron and a war song here. These
So he's
guys
going to
are all
whirlwind, and he can draw a lot of cards as well from the Battle Rage, so this is quite nice.
Yep.
Everyone! He could have gone for armor at the same stage as well, actually. But I think he wants the card draw, because he wants to...
Yeah.
He wants to try and win rather than just stay alive for it, so...
Yep.
There you go.
And that's a very nice draw there. Got a lot more parts of his next combo ready to go.
Yeah, and now...
Draw here. You really, get that extra card draw
He
in
definitely
there.
needs cards.
At this point, Wild Growth and Innervate are pretty much useless cards by themselves. Getting the 2 extra ones here would be pretty useful.
Oh, double swipe is not what he's looking for.
Yeah, it's very difficult to make swipe work around the patrons.
So what do you do here? Because, I mean... he's pretty dead.
I think you want to get rid of the Warsong Commanders pretty soon, just because that really kind of hinders their ability to throw down extra guys and them to have a charge straight away. I think Warsong, is the most important part of the patron combo, in my opinion, just because, as I said, it grants that charge. So maybe trying to get rid of that this turn would be nice for the Druid. But it really comes down to who he wants to sacrifice here.
Yeah, well, I mean... I don't know what he wants. I think he wants to get rid of Warsong, but, unbeknownst to him, there's another Warsong in his hand, and that could be very much lethal. Oh, yeah, that looks like it should be.
Yeah,
War
it's going to be a
Song.
frothing berserker combo here for sure. That's so many targets that
Oh.
can get injured.
Oh man!
Plus the 9 that he already
And you
has
can,
from
you
the
can
patrons.
you can drop down both
Yeah.
if you want, but I don't think it'd be quite worth it. But I think it's more about like hitting and then going whirlwind and okay. Looks like he wants to. It's pretty dead anyway. Oh,
So painful.
oh.
Yeah, as a druid, you're like, oh.
Are you
no."
serious? That's gonna be a gazillion damage.
This is the power of the patron here, guys.
Power of the patron.
You can turn it around at any time.
He is very dead. And so that's going to be taking it.
The
All right,
overkill.
all right. Better not get too cocky. You better take it easy, mate, because you still got to get the win after all. So,
And he runs out of time. That'd be funny.
so it looks like CitizenNappa's going to take game number 3. So now it's 2-1. And the last deck that we're going to see, we're actually going to see the Priest. So CitizenNappa bringing it back down 0-1 beforehand with that Patron against the Paladin deck.
Yeah.
But proving
And
that...
one thing you have to say as well, druid decks tend to struggle a little bit against the priests. So,
Yeah.
you know, priests can definitely make something happen here.
Especially now with Chillmore, and if he is playing the Dragon Priest,
Yeah.
Chillmore's really good against it. So is Twilight Guardian. Just really stops the Patron in its tracks. So
Yeah, like, before the Grand Tournament, priest felt like a very much reactive, kind of control-orientated class. But, you know, now you can kind of do your own thing. You know, you just throw
do
out
my
the...
thing.
Yeah, you just rely on the Dragon Synergy, throw out the cost-efficient cards, and it forces your opponent to actually be more into reactive.
Especially that
See?
4-drop Twilight Guardian, the 3/6 taunt. If you're holding a Dragon,
Yeah.
so difficult to
So,
deal with.
yeah.
Just so difficult to deal with. And even like Chillmore throwing it down, I think six mana, right? 6 or 7?
7 mana.
7 mana, yeah. 6/6. You know, when it dies, if you're holding a
Taunt.
Dragon, 3/3,
Yeah.
yeah, and taunt as well. And the six is really important because there's almost no targets for Big Game Hunter anymore unless you're playing the older.
Yeah,
decks.
there's so many good sub-7
I mean, like
power
Mysterious
minions
Challenger,
now.
it's a 6/6. Chillmore, 6/6. There's so little targets for the Big Game Hunters, and I think that's why we've seen them drop off a lot.
Yeah,
A
I mean,
lot of the
that,
decks just aren't running them at all.
that also has a lot to do with people not having figured out the 100% optimal setups yet.
Dragon Priest.
You know, the way card games like these tend to work is, you know, as people figure out exactly what cards you need, you kind of start to fit in those tech cards in there as well.
Yeah, most definitely. Like, so I finally got to Legend last season,
Yeah.
and the reason why I did it was because I was running a mid-range hunter, but with double flare, and like because everybody was running secret paladins and tempo mages and other hunters, there was just so much value in that tech card, and
Yeah.
we've seen it now with Mech Mage. Laughing at it just before that, now people are running one of the
Blood Knights.
the Blood Knight, the Blood Knight, and suddenly he's like, well, thanks for like the 9/9. I'm glad you got no way to deal with it. So
It's actually a really good starting stage of the game for the priest. You know, he has a few dragons in his hand. The synergy is already rolling here. Up to 3 minions on the field already here.
yeah, normally that piloted shredder on turn 4 would be awful for the priest, but it's like you're saying, like suddenly these new cards, you throw down the 3/6, you deal with it, not me.
Yeah. That pretty nice trade comes in from the shredder here. Oh, dropping on that taunt. The 6 health, as you talked about, is very hard to deal with.
Yeah, look, I mean, he's got the 5 as well, and this makes it just, I think, just Cleric Heal is probably going to be the play, actually.
Yep. Wants to draw a little bit more here. This does leave the Twilight Guardian open to getting cleared here by either of the minions at this stage. But, you know,
Whoa.
getting that card
Is that
draw.
Darkbane? Edis Darkbane in that as well?
Yeah, that's I think it's a 3 damage if you target it with a spell. I mean, priests do have a lot of single target buff spells, so that could work out pretty well here.
I think the card would be a lot better if it was targeted by any spell.
That would be insane.
True. I guess it would make it a lot better. But when I saw, like, targeted by your own, I was like, man, think it's okay.
But I mean, you have to take into consideration you can play this card really early as well. So
That's
it's 3-drop, so there's a lot of potential for you to use your spells later on.
That's
here.
true. It's a 3-drop, 3/4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even those stats are pretty good anyway.
Yeah.
So.
But both guys getting pretty decent trades in here.
Oh man, the Druid is doing
Ooh, yeah.
fantastically well at the moment, though.
He's curving out really nicely, while the Priest is kind of struggling a little bit. At this moment, he doesn't really have any turn 5 plays ready.
Oh, see, like, does that? Oh, I guess. No.
Not especially here.
So there's the Edis Duckbean.
Yeah, and that's just going to get cleared. So that's a bit of a disappointment there. Won't get to see that card in action.
Son, I am disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually don't own that card, so it's the first time I've heard that that
Music.
Yeah,
It's
that's pretty cool.
badass.
Yeah.
It's pretty badass. Oh wow. Okay, so kind of going for the grittier play, just throwing bodies on the board, and soon they're going to be.
Yeah, I mean, there was no real
bodies in the ground.
ideal play there. I think every play was kind of had its flaws, and he just chose the better one here.
But now, like the double, the double value turn of the Emperors.
Yeah. His 3 mana shredder. That's just so good.
Hello.
But it looks like
Well, because he can.
there's your Drake coming out here for some extra
Yeah.
card draw. I
There we
mean,
go.
the Druid is feeling so comfortable. Like, he even has that innervate that he can...
He's in such a driving position now. And again with the double, excuse me, the double Emperor value. Ultima is in a good position.
Oh, and that's not great either. Forced to throw down the Sylvanas. This is actually a potential to turn the game, but as you can see, the Druid already has a silence in hand. He's had excellent draws.
Feels terrible, man. It feels. I mean, like, look, even with Sylvanas on the board, the issue is that people can just ignore her.
Yeah, that's true.
I just don't care.
Yeah.
Or like, even if you're throwing down the Druid, just Druid of the Claws. I don't care. Just deal with a taunt then instead.
Yep.
So Druid definitely in the driving seat.
Yeah, all he needs to do is really kind of draw a Savage Roar here, because he has so many creatures on the field as it is. He needs to be careful of something like Light Bomb, though. Like, a lot of his creatures, could end up killing themselves there. But he's really going for it here. Up to 5 minions on the field.
Well, Light Bomb doesn't even clear anything anymore. Have a look at it. Doesn't even clear the Druid. Doesn't even he has to do it, but at the same time, like, there's so much staying power of the Druid. And he doesn't have another play. Like, he just doesn't have another play.
Yeah.
Still 8 damage on the board. Like, it just doesn't stem the bleeding.
Yeah.
He's bleeding out, man. He's bleeding out. Someone go help him.
The Druid is kind of low on cards in his hand, though, so this could be a opportunity for the Priest to try and come back into this with a superior
if the
cards
Priest
in his
got
hand.
another Light Bomb and the Druid didn't draw anything, he could be in like some... Oh, actually no, he could draw the Holy Nova as well. But the Druid would like need to have nothing for a while. And then maybe the Priest can get down Ysera on turn 9 and get back into the game.
Yeah.
It's going to be on, what, 9 health?
It's a very scary place to be against Druid. So much burst.
Anything under 15 is a scary place to be against the Druid. Wow, he's actually going for the cycle. Oh, paying off actually.
Oh, yeah.
Paying off dividends. And that is the card that he is looking for.
Oh, not the greatest 2 draws there, but still. That's something. Some
But
extra bodies.
Yeah, it's also 2 draws that he wouldn't have had to deal with later. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's probably the right choice here. You don't want to have your...
Shade Light Bombed.
Yeah, or Holy Nova, something like that. Ah, that's not useful at
I
all.
think he has to dig now.
Yeah, he has to
Dig deep.
dig and hope.
Please, own Jesus. Hallowed be thy name. GG.
Yep, I mean, that's good, but that's not good enough. Looks like the Druid outpaced the Priest pretty hard here. And it's going to come down to the last matchup.
Control Warrior versus Priest.
Yeah.
Could go down to fatigue. But who knows? I mean, like, this is the newer style of Priest, and
Yeah.
it is all over Red Rover, 2-2 apiece.
Yeah, both guys playing it very well. Been kind of like very one-sided matches throughout. Just because
like,
I think one of these guys gets a little bit unlucky with the draws, the other guy gets extremely lucky, and then, you know.
Never lucky. Never lucky. Well, I mean, like, that's what happens in a card game as well. You know, you do have to kind of draw the cards that you need as well, and sometimes it just doesn't go your way. And
Well, I mean, this next matchup coming up, Priest versus Controller, that is a very stable, kind of more slow-paced matchup.
it's extremely slow-paced
Yeah.
match.
But I think Priest kind of has the upper hand a little bit, just because they can push mid-game a little harder than the Control Warrior can. But it just comes down to how many weapons the Control Warrior draws early on, some removal as well. And
Yeah, need some like shield slams and executes for sure, just to deal with something like that. Yeah, because the Twilight Guardians, oh man, that's already quite a good start for the Priest. And the Warrior, no Winax in his... Oh, hey!
There it is.
Hello! Were you looking for me? So that's really good. It's exactly what he wants. Unless he wants to play greedy. Haven't seen if he's running any brawls, so maybe he's like, oh, you know, well, Priest is going to be so slow anyway. I'm not going to bother with it.
Yeah.
But
You know, Power Word Shield, that's a pretty good card early on to have, and the Warrior kind of overlooked that possibility here.
well, I think he thought about it and he went for the risk because he's like, oh, you're not going to play anything. Because I mean, even Dragon Priest, they're so slow to do any damage. Like, it's all about surviving until later.
Getting very efficient trades, healing up your own minions.
Yep.
Because you look at the new cards as well, the Twilight Guardian and stuff, and a lot of the Priest decks, they have high HP, kind of lower damage. That fits very well with the Priest,
Yeah,
where
the
you can keep
Wormrest
healing them
Agent
up.
as well.
Yeah.
The 2/4. I'm still yet to see if anyone can make like a Warrior Taunt deck work.
Oh, yeah.
With Bolster and all that all that jam.
Yeah. I think those cards are a bit too conditional sometimes, that people haven't really figured out how that works, how well that works just yet, but that's definitely still a possibility.
Yeah. Well, Warrior's still weighing up all his options at the moment. Doesn't want to jump the gun too quickly. Just kind of waiting around a little bit because I mean he knows that there's not much damage in the Priest.
Yeah, just armor up, you know, a little bit. Just transition into the mid and late game here.
Yeah, it's not like sweet music.
Yeah.
It's not like he's in really much danger of dying just yet, but he does. Okay, he's gonna get rid of the Dark Pain. I guess he doesn't want to take free damage from that, especially if he got the VLANs on him. That'd be really difficult to get rid of him.
And I mean, getting one charge off the Deathbite's nice as well, because this means you can pretty much just one-shot a 5 health minion as well if you want to.
Yeah, he can do what he wants.
But the Priest just throwing down some smaller creatures here, and really just kind of bolstering his board presence, while the Warrior is just on the weapon so far, and it's kind of difficult to make the decision to really kind of use your second charge of Deathbite on something like a Whelp. You're kind of like,
Well, I don't want to, but I'm going to.
Yeah, I kind of have to now.
And now he's actually going to have to do it. So there goes that. Now's this shield block as well, but the Azure Drake on turn 5. And Veland's chosen. I mean, that's what he was not wanting on the Darkbane.
Yeah.
So, down to 1 health again, but... So turn 5 for the Warrior. There's a bit of... Doesn't seem like there's too much for him at the moment.
Yeah, but like... Turn 5, 6, 7 is really where the controller tries to come back into it. Starts throwing down some of his bigger threats. So
yeah.
he's survived.
Oh
you know,
wow,
so.
he can steal that, and he's going to.
Yep, nice value
Thanks
coming
for
out
that,
there.
champion. Which is good because he was starting to fall behind in cards as well, and now suddenly,
Yep.
not only does he steal one of his cards, but he also grants him the card draw as well.
Oh, this is so frustrating. No 6-drop for the
Warrior.
The Warrior. You really want the Shield Maidens or like something like a Sylvanas on turn 6. That'd be really nice, but just hasn't drawn that yet. And you really have to kind of delay a little bit more for the next turn.
He's getting really low on health as well.
Yeah,
He's on 16 health. Like, it's getting pretty dicey now, and there's a lot of issues that are facing him. I mean, 16 health being the most pressing.
yeah. I think it's just more the board presence that the priest has, and he doesn't have the appropriate removal out just now, so
Yeah.
he can't really deal with that. You know, if he takes 8 more damage this turn, then it becomes really, really dicey. You know.
Yeah, I mean, the priest still doesn't actually have very much reach or like burst damage at all, but there's a lot of options here.
Yeah, we'll see what he decides to do. Maybe even hovering over the buffs, and looks like he's gonna cycle through some more cards here. Ooh, because Blackwing Corrupt is so cost efficient. It's basically like a fire elemental, but then 1 mana less and slightly worse stats.
Yeah, well, exactly 1/1 less for 1.
Yeah.
So pretty good. I mean, you do have to have a dragon, so it's the drawback. The warrior is in quite a predicament.
Yep.
And we've got our first winner today, who pushes
Making it
onto the
happen with
bracket.
Priest.
Yeah, so the
Priest coming
14th
back in
seed
there.
takes out the 19th seed. It is, of course, a double elimination, ladies and gentlemen, so that we will be seeing Ultima still. You know, still not out just quite yet. So, you know, double elimination. We are going to be going for 2 days, so it's going to be today and tomorrow as well, over the entire of the fireside, with the top 2 places going to the APAC, Asia and Pacific.